we thought it would be valuable to give you a really rapid snapshot of a Microsoft Education partner solution offering in the classroom management space. The goal here is to broaden your perspective on what is available in the market and stimulate those of you who are potentially interested in building on the technology stack provided by Microsoft. The partner that I'm going to introduce here is Imperio Software. Imperio Software has been working with schools and organizations since about 2002 and now has customers in more than 90 countries. Basically, their mission is to provide technology solutions designed specifically to keep people, devices, and the connections between them safe and effective. In addition to that, I'd say Imperio is one of 8 education solution technology partners that Microsoft Education works with globally. But let's focus specifically on classroom management. Basically, its fundamental aim is about keeping students on track. Obviously, the internet, and when students use the internet, is full of distractions. So classroom management basically makes it easy to maintain control and keep students focused. And you'll see that in a moment. Teachers can easily identify students who are off task and then remove on any online distraction with real-time monitoring and basically restricting browsing functionality. The Imperio Classroom solution basically it supports all 5 major operating system platforms, so Windows PCs and laptops, Chromebooks, Macs, iPads, as well as Android devices. Basically, the classroom management solution works wherever students are, supporting remote and hybrid learning to ensure the continuity of education. And finally, classroom management from Imperio is fully integrated with Teams, Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to share some stuff with you now. First of all, let me explain what I'm going to show here. As I was finalizing my preparation for this presentation, I was working a number of demo scenarios, including using an Imperio demo tenant, a Microsoft Education demo tenant. However, none of these really were working how I wanted to this morning. So I'm going to share the best bits of a video recording that I made during a prep call with my Imperio contact. So first of all, what you'll hopefully all recognize here is a Teams environment. And in this specific case, what you can see here is a number of teams are set up. We're most interested in the health research team, and you can see that when we click on health research, as we're going to do now, what you'll see here is basically the Imperio Classroom is added in the ribbon here. We did some experimentation with this on our own demo system, and it integrates pretty. As long as you've got administrator rights, you can add it as an app. In here, you have to connect to something called Backdrop, which comes from Imperio itself, and then it's integrated into whichever team you specifically specify in Microsoft Teams. If we click on that, I'm going to. Basically, what you'll see here, and I'll pause here, there are 2 parts to the screen. And in the middle section, we have pin devices and devices, more on that in a moment. And then on the far right-hand side is you have the action pane. And what I'm going to show here by just clicking on play is the following. We'll come to pin devices in a moment. As you scroll down, you can see we have a number of devices that have been set up with Classroom. Not many of them are on at the moment, but what we're going to do is we're going to basically turn a couple of them on, and then we're going to pin a specific device, this device, Deborah Berger. We're going to pin it to the pin devices section. Why is this interesting? Now, the point here is if there is a specific student that you want to give some special attention to, you have the ability to actually do that. So what we've done here is we've added Deborah Berger to the pinned section. And what we're going to do here, I'll pause again. What you can see here is that in addition to Cara Coleman, we have Deborah Berger, who we've just pinned to the pin devices section. She's actually running, as you can see, she's running on an Apple device. whereas our colleague, Cara Coleman, is running on an Android device. So what I've showed here is we've got the PIN devices, those students that we want to give some specific attention to. And then we've got all the other devices in the classroom. Now, what you'll see next is we can change the sizing on these specific devices. We can, make the icons bigger or smaller. But probably the most important thing is we're going to select these PIN devices, as we're going to do shortly. And then we're going to start taking some action with them, toggling on the sizing. But the most important thing, we're going to now select some specific devices. Okay, what that enables us to do is then go to the right-hand side, and then we can start doing some things that we need to do, to ensure that we're driving a focus session. Now, what you can see on the right-hand side is we have the ability to disable the internet access. We can lock screens. And we can actually log out devices. What's the difference between internet access and locking screens? Well, locking screens, you might that might be more desirable than turning off the internet access if there is some physical contribution that's taking place in the lesson. So we'll show that. We're going to disable, and what you can quickly see is that the devices then their screens change. The internet access is turned off. I think we're going to see the lock screen next. So we've turned that back on, which we've enabled it. Now let's look at the lock screen. Here we're actually going to lock the screen. You see the end user devices, their screens are now locked. And then finally, we can actually log out all the devices. What is quite interesting next is that we can actually send a message to a specific user. So if we wanted to, for instance, if we wanted to send a message, obviously this is in addition to Teams functionality, and this is just basically a messaging function which is available in this specific app. So if we wanted to, tell one of the students to, for instance, stay focused, we could write a message in here. What we're going to say, we're going to close that down. Okay. We can send that message, and what you can see then is that that user, Deborah Berger, gets a specific message. The next part I'm going to actually show, which I think is the launch website. This really is a time-saving device here. I don't know how many of you of the audience are directly involved in education, but if you can imagine a scenario where you've got 20 people, all their devices on, and you want them to move to one specific website. So you say, look, we want to go to Imperio Classroom. You get multiple hands coming up, people saying, what Imperio, is it Imperio Software, or is it all one word? Is there any capitals? Is it et cetera, et cetera? You can get through all of this pain by basically launching the website on behalf of all the users in the class, which I think is a very strong cost-saving device. The other functionality is something called Broadcast Screen. Broadcast Screen enables users to basically, you can, if you've got one screen up, you can broadcast your screen, or if you wanted to broadcast a student screen, you could do that as well. We're going to fast forward a little bit here, because then we actually have the ability to we can actually set website lists. And what I mean by this is that users can actually what you can see here is that you can predefine what websites are allowed and block those that are not allowed. For instance, it's quite intuitive. So, for instance, if you put in YouTube, it would block, or you have the possibility to block all websites with YouTube in them with a descriptor like that. Well, the other thing before I finish here is you actually have the ability to go one-on-one with a student, and this looks slightly different. If you wanted to go one-on-one with a student, this basically enables you to see what tabs they've got open, and also to see what tabs they have recently closed. So again, this provides the means to to really focus learning on one particular student, and then you get a more enriched visibility to the type of information that they're actually sharing there.